Hello Challenger. I'm here in another live where I'm going to explain to you the 6 pillars to become a recognized and well-paid Challenger developer. So let me share the link here with you and we can get started. So on this live, I'm going to warm up the high value developer roadmap, and basically what I will talk about here is uh, regarding the pillars that you have to focus on so that you upgrade to the other level in your Java career. So the first very important point here is about having clarity. So why clarity is important? It's because you need to know what are your next career steps. Otherwise, you don't know what to study, you don't know what to do, and you are just doing random things. So, for example, if you're studying for a certification that won't really help you in your Java career, then what's the point? So you need to know exactly what are the actions that will bring you growth as quickly as possible. So, and sometimes you don't even have clarity of what are the next steps and not even what is possible for your career. And this happens sometimes because, for example, you don't know the right developers, um, or for example, when you don't go to conferences and when you don't know exactly what is your career potential, then it's easy to find a trap and to be in your comfort zone and basically not to grow in your career. So you need to take some time to write down what are your next career steps, because like I said, if you don't know where you're going, then you don't even know what to tell your manager or what is your next career step. So you need to write down what are your next career steps exactly, so that you have this idea. It doesn't need to be the perfect plan, but you have to have at least an idea of what are your goals so that you take action towards those goals. And you need to decide what are technologies that you want to work with. So for example, if you're working in a monolith Java project, or if you're working with, I don't know, a very old Java code or Python code or whatever the programming language, and you want to improve the code quality, you want to move to another project where people care about code quality, then you're going to have to study technologies that will enable you to pass in an interview for another company. So for example, if you want to work with microservices, then you're going to have to be consistent on these studies, because you won't learn microservices architecture all of a sudden. It will take time. It will take consistent effort so that you get really good at what you want to achieve. So it's like the best players in the world. Like if you watch documentaries from the best NBA players or the best football players, what they do, they practice consistently. And in our area as programmers, it's the same thing. We need to be practicing all the time. So you have to figure out what's the main thing for you. How is the best way for you to practice? Is it by contributing to open source projects, or is it to be writing articles or sharing your knowledge, or it is to study certification, whatever the way. It won't be easy, but it's going to be rewarding, because then when we are highly skilled, you can get any job far more easily and you can solve problems more quickly as well. I would say that the most valuable skill to improve as software engineers is to improve your problem solving skills. And how can you improve that? By learning fundamentals. Because when you learn the fundamentals, then it's much easier to learn the tools, right? So clarity is the first pillar. So you need to know where you're going to, and this is, I know that sometimes it's difficult to have this level of clarity, but for example, I definitely help my mentees with that, my mentorship program, and that's definitely something that can potentially help you as well. So, and the other step here is tech mastery. So, what does that mean? It means that we need to, there are some techniques to master technologies. So you have to find a way that's sustainable for you to improve with technologies. So one way is to create a pet project. And this way, I highly recommend it because then you can create your own microservice. You can use containers. You can maybe use Jenkins and automate the whole build cycle of your software. You can create something fun and you can, test whatever you want. You can test message brokers. You can test security. You can make lots of tests so that when you are in a day-to-day challenge in your job, then it's easier to solve the issues. So having fun with your learning is a great way to get better. So for example, if you like IoT, why not creating something with IoT, or creating your own cluster and deploying your microservice with Kubernetes? Those things will help you to learn more about configuration, microservices, and that will help you to be sharp as a software developer. The other thing that will help you massively is to go to conferences. So, and why is that? It's because when you go to conferences, you open your mind to other technologies and you also meet amazing people. So sometimes we think, oh, we know everything. And then we have this narrow view from our company. But then when you go to a conference, we see so many highly skilled developers. And then we notice, okay, there's so much to learn. And then potentially when you go to a conference, you can see a technology where you can solve a specific problem in your job. So that's very useful. So when you go to conferences, it makes it obvious to use technology you saw in a presentation to solve a specific problem from your day-to-day job. And the other thing about tech mastery is to be careful to watch too many videos on YouTube or only doing courses and not put anything in practice, because any knowledge you have is to put it into practice. So you need to practice, and to do that, like, you don't need to go crazy and create a very complicated project. You can create something very simple, maybe an idea you have. It's better if you can create something that is an idea that could create you some profit. But if you don't have an idea, just create something that's very simple. And the important thing is that you put your knowledge into practice, because if you learn all the books and you read many books, you watch all the tutorials, but if you don't try it yourself, you're not acquiring a skill. You're just wasting, I wouldn't say wasting time because I think that's too strong. You are learning something, but you're not really getting the best as possible, because you can only get very good if you practice, you make mistakes, you break the code, and finally you make it work. That's what will make you learn and acquire a skill. So you need to be careful with that. Don't just watch lots of videos. it's important to put it into practice. And the ultimate way to learn anything is by sharing your knowledge. So, and I don't mean that you need to share your knowledge publicly and need to talk to thousands of people. No, you can teach your friend. If you know someone who is a beginner, teach this beginner. Or if you're an intermediate or senior developer, mentor the junior developers, because that will help you to absorb and really uh, ingrain the knowledge, and that will help you a lot. So teaching is the ultimate way to really learn any skill. And if you want to share your knowledge publicly like I'm doing now, you can also create your own YouTube channel, and you can share knowledge specifically about a technical subject. You can write articles. Nowadays, it's never been easier to share your knowledge on the internet. So the internet is a great platform for that. And like I said, to share your knowledge is the ultimate way to learn any subject. There's even the Feynman technique. So who is Feynman? So Richard Feynman was a Nobel Prize winning physicist who made significant contributions in quantum mechanics. So, and he created a very effective learning process, which is basically to write down the concept you want to learn. And step 2 is to teach the concept in your own terms. So whatever you learned, explain with your own words. And step 3, if your explanation feels shaky, go back to the books and understand it again. And step 4, rewrite in simpler terms or use analogies. So analogies are a very powerful way to teach many things. So use it as much as possible because it makes it easier for people to understand you. And the other pillar that's essential is to boost your LinkedIn profile and CV. So why is that? It's because your LinkedIn profile is the only way that companies will know about your experience. So you need to know how to show your experience there. So you need to put there how many years of experience you have. You need to have a nice photo. So you need to create a sharp LinkedIn profile so that the big companies see you and they know that you are a good candidate, that you are a strong candidate. And if you don't share knowledge publicly, unfortunately, your LinkedIn profile and your CV, they will be the only way that you are marketing yourself. Obviously, you can also, use networking, can leverage the people who know you, but that's not enough. You have to, so to maximize your chances, you have to have a very good LinkedIn profile as well. So, and you can't neglect that because the more, the better, the sharper your LinkedIn profile is, it's easier to get another job, right? So, and the other thing is that to improve your LinkedIn profile is also a way to get a promotion more easily. Why is that? It's because one thing is to negotiate with your manager for a raise without an offer. Another whole thing is to negotiate with your manager with an offer in your hands. Because then you show your company that, hey, I am a valuable asset. I'm a valuable developer because I passed this interview, and sometimes you get an offer with maybe possibly even the double of your salary, and then then you have a lot of power in the negotiation process because you can show your manager, hey, that's the offer I got, and you can tell your manager that you want to stay in the company, and to try to, find a good um, middle ground between you and the company. But you are in the power position during the negotiation if you have this if you have this offer from the other company. So on our LinkedIn profile, include the relevant skills that that you want to get another job. So if you want to work with microservices, obviously include there technologies that are relevant for microservices. And if you have a pet project deployed in AWS or any other cloud provider, you can also put your application there. That's great, because if you have your application there, uh, the the interviewer can see right away that you are a highly skilled developer. So building a portfolio is always a good idea, not only to show your skills, but also for you to practice your skills, because then it's going to be easier to pass an interview, for example. So you have the option of creating a nonsense project, or if you have an idea, just create something useful, because that will help you even more. And also, to be well paid, obviously you need to know how to negotiate. Why? Because sometimes you don't earn what you deserve, but you earn what you negotiate. I know it's a bit sad to hear that, but this happened several times in my career. I was focusing too much on the technical side. I was getting better, but I wasn't having any raise. And the people with similar technical skills than mine, they just arrived in the company and they were earning 4 times my salary. And why was that? Because they knew how to negotiate better than me, right? So we need to know how to negotiate, otherwise these situations will happen again and again. So a lot of people who maybe are not as good as you technically, they will get the higher salary because they know how to negotiate. So that's a big mistake, because we think, oh, only technical skills are important. Yes, they are important, but they are not the only thing. There are those other soft skills that are equally important. So the first thing you need to know is to know how much you should ask, because if you have no idea how much you ask, the company is in control, right? They can say whatever the number they want, and you're gonna accept because you have no idea what's the number. So your first homework is to figure out what is this number according to your experience, how much developer with your experience and skills should be earning in the market. So after you do this research, then you're far more prepared to face a negotiation process. You can talk with recruiters. You can ask recruiters what are their salaries. And don't make salary a taboo. Ask your close friends how much they earn. You don't need to use any technique here. You just, if it's a close friend, just ask your close friend. And Glassdoor is also a good place to start. Like, you can have a look there. Usually, the salary there is 20% or 30% less than the actual market salary. So pay attention in that. But still, they are pretty good. Like, it's a good way to check salaries as well. But don't trust Glassdoor, because, like I said, usually it's 20% or 30% less than what the market is paying. So be careful with that. The other pillar that is essential for your career growth, like, the more you grow, the more communication is important, right? So, because without clear communication, you can't get much visibility at work. So you can show how good you are if you don't have communication skills. It's more difficult to convey your message. It's easier for uh, a developer. Sometimes this happens in companies, even more when it's a toxic company. There are developers who are competing with each other, and if you don't have strong communication skills, developers who want to knock you down, for example, to get a promotion more quickly than you, they will very easily knock you down if you don't have communication skills very sharp. So we have to practice our communication skills so that we are able to communicate clearly and we are able to defend ourselves. Because otherwise, it's very easy to anyone just, take your place and uh, attack you, and then there isn't much you can do, right? So, and communication is not that easy because it involves also your emotional preparation, right? So, if you are a very reactive person, like it might be difficult for you to be a good communicator, because if you're very reactive, people will easily manipulate you. So you have to, doesn't mean that you will feel that you won't feel emotions. For example, when someone disrespects you, but the best approach is to be calm and tell the other person, say, hey, if the person, for example, is doing something like is cutting you off in a meeting, and you say, hey, let me finish here. I didn't finish yet. So basically, you don't let people just knock you down on those situations or any other situation. Like communication is not only communication. It's a lot about having respect from others, respecting others as well. It's a lot about listening, because like the more you are in a leadership position, it's uh, like it's even more to listen. It's even more important to listen. And communication is not only to talk to someone, it's also to listen. And most people nowadays, they can't listen. They are anxious. They want to talk first and be different. Like listen, respect others, be kind to others. And if someone attacks you, be ready to defend yourself, right? So, as a senior software developer, you need to be a good mentor. So, you need to have good communication skills, because sometimes a junior developer will ask you, hey, what's this concept? And then if you explain in a very complicated way, you never help this junior developer to grow. So you need to improve your way to communicate in a simple and concise way, because that's the way you're going to help them, right? So have this habit of being a mentor for junior developers, because you're going to help this person to grow in their careers. You're going to make an impact in this person's life, and you're going to also become a lot better with communication. You're going to the concepts will be clear in your mind, and if for some reason you don't know a concept the junior developer is asking you, you're going to fill out the gaps. So you're going to know the things you don't know, because sometimes you think, oh, I know everything. But then a junior might surprise you. Juniors might say, hey, what is this concept here from Java? And suddenly you realize, oh, okay, I don't remember. I will research. I will, and then I'll explain to you. So it's great because, the more you mentor, the more you share your knowledge, you're going to be improving your communication skills. And communication we use every day with all the time. It's a very important skill. And basically, you need to try to communicate clearly. Like, don't over communicate. Communicate in a way that you make an impact. And also share your knowledge. Like I said, sharing your knowledge is the ultimate way to absorb content and to learn something. So learn how to share your knowledge to your coworkers and make them better software developers. So the more you share knowledge, the more you're gonna be recognized in your team. You don't need to share your knowledge publicly to huge conferences, but at least sharing to your coworkers, that will help you a lot, because then the knowledge is not only with you, but it's with everyone in the team. And the more you do that, the more valuable you become, because you gain visibility in the company you work for. So, and holding knowledge will only hold you back on your career, because one developer can't do much, but one developer in a team, and if you can share the knowledge and empower everyone, this team can do big things. So, and by sharing your knowledge, you become a reference, someone developers will trust. So, uh, you've probably seen that a lot of times. So, if you see a developer sharing knowledge in your company, you know that this person becomes a reference very quickly. People start respecting this person, and people look forward to learn from this person. They trust this person. So by sharing your knowledge, you become a reference, and that helps you in your career, helps you to get promoted. It helps you to go to another level uh, in your job, and also in your career. It depends. Like if you want to continue in your job, or if you want to go to um, another job. So, and like I said, you can also go beyond, share your knowledge with articles, YouTube videos, or giving talks. Then you stand out not only within your company, but for other companies, right? So that's the benefit of giving talks or sharing your knowledge. So the more you do that, the better you get technically. And um, it's like having a super powerful CV, because when you're sharing your knowledge like that, you are gaining visibility from other developers. Other developers trust you and they want to work with you. So to to have the most powerful CV or the most powerful LinkedIn profile ever, start sharing your knowledge, start making your knowledge public. So write articles. It doesn't need to be the best content in the world. You just need to keep in mind that there will be always someone you can help, right? So even if you are in college, there are people who are not even in college. There are people who doesn't even know how to create a variable. So for sure you know more than someone. So you don't need to be afraid of sharing your knowledge, because you can always help someone. There's always someone who wants what you have, right? Even if you're just starting. So, and the more you share your knowledge, the more confidence you get, and the more you learn, the more you absorb the knowledge, and the better you get, and the more visibility you get. So it's easier, it helps you a lot in your career, and it also helps you to improve your communication skills. So those are the pillars to become a well-paid challenger developer. And so we talked about having clarity, because if you don't know where you're going, then probably you're going to stay in the same position. Tech mastery, so it's important to practice the knowledge you have. So if you have knowledge with Java microservice, create a Java microservice with, I don't know, in deploy that in AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, whatever the cloud provider you prefer. And boost your LinkedIn profile, because that will help you to get a better job, or even to negotiate a better salary within your company. Negotiation skills, because if you don't know how to negotiate, like I said, developers who have similar skills than you, they will be able to negotiate a much better salary than you. And regarding communication, you need to know how to negotiate, how to communicate in a simple way so that people notice you, and uh, so that you can easily empower other people as well by sharing your knowledge. And the only way to make people understand you is to communicate in a simple way, right? And share your knowledge, because by sharing your knowledge, that will help you a lot to gain visibility within your job, or um, publicly. If you decide to share your knowledge publicly, that's even better. And that's pretty much it. Don't forget that next Monday, we're going to have the high value developer roadmap, where I'm going to show you the steps to work on a stress-free job um, with cutting-edge technologies, earning top salaries with Java. So I call you intermediate and senior developer to watch the high value developer roadmap, because this live is just a warm-up series, and I'm gonna leave the link in the description of this video. You can access the this link, and then you're gonna get access to the WhatsApp community, where I'm gonna share everything with you. So thank you so much, Challenger Developer, for being here and to be focusing on your career growth. And what will make the difference in your career is your commitment to take action, it's your strategy, and it's your consistency. So that's pretty much it, Java Challenger. And never forget, break your limits.